You went to Saint Giles Hospital,
Yes.
and you were sharing a story with me about how difficult it was for you to see how the young people were coping there. A high percentage of them linked to drugs, but not enough or not anything close to a drug rehab facility. If you can share, what do we have in relation to that?
Yeah. So for us, it was literally, we needed to reach out to St. Giles because of the data that we received. We've seen the increasing numbers of what was happening on the street. So we touched base into St. Giles because that was perceived to be the mental institution. And at the same time, trying to see if there's any help we can offer. So we went in and just had a conversation with the staff, and then they said, come in and do some workshop with the patients. And we thought, okay, that was great. So we started off with 5, just having a Talanoa session. The thing is, drugs is so complex on its own because everybody either don't want to talk about it because it's too many taboo subject. The drugs, it's like whatever it may be, the shame factor, the stigma that's attached to it. And that's the biggest thing is when there is stigma attached to that, people won't come out and reach for help. So what we found when we got in there, we literally didn't care what drugs they were on. We didn't care where they came from. It was literally just having a talanoa with a family member. And that's how we started. We were seeing, the increasing number of young people coming through, sits down with them, have a conversation with them, what sort of drugs, which community, which area, what did they get themselves into and everything. We got to a stage there that we were sitting with 30 to, 35 people, male and female. They don't have what you call a program in there for them. For us, we just go in and we just create it organically by what we were seeing in front of us. We go in, we share the truth about drugs, share with them our journey, our story. That allows them then to say, you know what, man, this is, what I was into, and I didn't even know synthetic drugs was here in this country. I didn't even know till I was in there. Because one of the young people were talking about K2, and I just thought, what
is K2?
K2 is a drug-cooked marijuana. It's synthetic drugs. So, it's in a tablet form.
Very dangerous.
Very dangerous, very potent too, marijuana.
Highly addictive.
Very highly addictive. For him, I asked him, how did you even, how did you come across this?
How old was he?
19, and he was from the western side. Yeah. So it was, the thing is, you can't say this only happens to this cohort of people. This, this drug taking only happens to this cohort. No, it doesn't. It does not discriminate. It doesn't care what race you are, what gender you are, what religious belief, what political affiliation you are. Yes, it doesn't care at all. Everybody is affected by this.
We see a lot more people too, seems like they're highly addictive and walking the streets. The other day, an unfortunate incident of a naked woman walking around in a neighborhood. Just over the weekend, a person trying to fight with an electric pole and trying to bang his head on the electric pole. Are you starting to get these kind of incidents too? And what is that an indicator of?
Okay, so I'll give you an example. One young man, he was glue sniffing was his thing, and he thought he was having a really long conversation with a popo tree. This was in the middle of the morning, and everyone was laughing at him. After he went through his whole episode, so for about an hour or 2 hours after, he came out of that trance, sits him down and just have a talk with him. What's going on? What happened? It was glue. So literally, he was a regular use of glue, and that was one of his time where he literally just had a really bad trip. Yeah, and that happens very often. And you'll see a lot more of this. It's not, so when we talk about hard drugs, we can't just say it'll happen to marijuana, or cocaine, crystal meth. No, the glue in itself, that's dangerous. Yeah.